This is an issue I've been seeing a lot with higher logic sites. You'll notice the fonts here very light, and it's actually loading the 100 weight of Helvetica or Helvetica New. That actually comes with Twitter Bootstrap, and that comes included with your higher logic site. Uh, some of the themes indicate using a base of 100 weight font. However, if you're not loading the right font, it's going to default to Helvetica New, which does have a 100 weight. The confusing thing is this can look different on various people's computers and take a long time to kind of troubleshoot and figure out what's going on. So there are two reasons why it's going to look different for different people. One is because the the font that should be loading is not loading. So if we look at this, so coming from the theme, it's trying to load Roboto, and then Helvetica New is the fallback. If we're not loading Roboto correctly, you're going to get this 100 weight of Helvetica New. But what I would do first, the probably the most permanent fix, font weight 100. That is so thin. We don't actually want that to load. So you can see if I just remove the font weight 100, all my fonts go back to normal. That's actually what we want. So this comes from, it should be near the top of your theme. I would just remove that font weight 100. We'd never really want to see a font that thin unless it's like like a large font, but definitely don't want that attached to the body. So if you can, I would find that in your theme, remove it if you can. It can be a little more difficult if you're using the import theme. But so if I was actually going to override this, I would just say body, body, zoom in there a little bit, body, font weight, normal. That'll get me back. So if you're going to override, just do body, font weight, normal. That'll override what's in the theme. But really, we should remove that from the base theme. No, I'm just gonna reload here. Now here's another reason why it can look different for different people. Now I'm a designer, and sometimes I'll receive design files, Sketch, Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever it is. And Roboto, fairly common font, that's usually loading on my system. So this is in my Adobe Creative Cloud. Here's Roboto. Um, let's see, I'm going to activate. I'll just do Roboto regular, or maybe even the lightweight of the font. Now I'm going to go back to the page I was just on. Guess what? It looks fine because it's actually loading Roboto. Now I'm just going to take a step back. I'm going to deactivate these two. Boom. Now it's loading Helvetica again, and it's very light, too light to see. So the quickest way or the best way to fix is going to be remove font weight 100. We never really want that to load, especially not as a default for all our fonts. Second thing is you can override body font weight normal. That'll kind of reset it. Third thing to look for, and actually this is probably happening in this site, if you're loading the Roboto font from Google Fonts, you will want to make sure you're loading it with HTTPS instead of HTTP, because more modern browsers now will simply block that HTTP link to that font. So it's not going to load the font based on how you are linking to the Google font. And in that case, which is actually what's happening here, it's not loading Roboto, it is reverting to Helvetica New and actually using that 100 weight of the font.